Hi everybody, it's Reg from Aver Reg Guy, and today what I'm going to do is, it's a bit of an experiment. I wanted to build a ring and put it in space and hit it with thrusters and see how fast I can get it spinning. I did find out some stuff with it though, and when I did the build, this was the ring that I made, and I had larger thrusters on it, and it didn't make. I didn't put the biggest ones, but I put the ones from the landers. Let me just get my pointer here again. So I put these thrusters on it here, or these rockets, and I found something out in the way that the simulator works. I can run the thing at full power. It'll get up to a speed and just stay there, which isn't really the way it should work. As long as you're given constant thrust, there should be a constant acceleration. But I think what happens is when something is in orbit in the simulator, it's slowly turning. And you can notice that as it goes around the planet, it's always pointing in the same direction, which means it's always turning, according to how the physics in the game would work, or in the simulator would work. So I'm thinking, because of the way that I've got this rocket currently working, these engines on this, is I'm going against that direction. So it's like it's going through a friction field. It's going through atmosphere, even though it's not. It's up in space. And I put one of these quite high in space, and it made no difference. This started out as an experiment to see what would happen if there's no fairings. And the fairings really don't do much difference at all. Like, at all. But they look really cool, so I'm going to keep doing them. But I'm just going to make a quick change to this one. I just want to round it out just a little bit more. And I've put one up in the moon's orbit. I'll show you that one in a minute. And I can turn that on and it works no problem. So let's go in here and take a look at this. So I'm going to revert to build on this here, or we actually are in build. Okay. A couple of things I want to show is there's one thing that we have going on here is clipping. This is when you have two pieces that are joined together. And we used to be able to, before I actually started in game, you used to be able to clip engines and just stack engines on top of each other and make it super powerful. They don't let you do that anymore. I can show you that. If I drag out engine number 1, and what they used to do is they used to do something like this. Engine number 2, engine number 3, engine number 4, and then you select them. Let me see if I can do this where I can actually see them all. So I'm going to try to select that one, bring it here, now select that, and then you'd pick up the whole thing and you move it, and it would say, look, you got a whole bunch of engines. But what happens now in game when you go to use that is they tend to explode. One of them tends to go away on you. Let me just demonstrate that. If I drag this down, now, people have said that they've come up with solutions for that. But let's do this. I'm going to take this big mass and throw them right there. Just for kicks. Okay. Now, those aren't the biggest engines. In fact, let me do that with the biggest engines here. These are the paid for pack, right? So we got 1, 2, and then I want to throw another one right here. And you can see how the edge ones go gray. So what you do then is you select the first one, the second one, the third one, grab it, just wiggle it a little bit, and there you go. So I now have one really large engine there. Let's try the same thing here. 1, 2, 3, grab, and there. So those are clipped together at this point. Let's just try something. So if I try to launch this, okay, so I'm going to select the engines Okay, so they're all on. And I'm going to say launch. Bam. See that? So it used to be that you could stack engines, but now they just blow up because heating effects work the way they're supposed to work now. So you can't do that. But when you're building these sort of pieces, you can. So let me just, what I want to do is I want to stretch this out a little bit more. So if I want to move this and I grab one, you can see it breaks, right? So I need to go click the foreground, click the background one. Now when I go to move it, they are now joined together as one piece. So it gives you the ability to join stuff on each end. Now anything that you have touching together is going to automatically be welded together, if you want to look at it in that sort of term. So let's call it that. So these are going to be automatically welded together. I'm just going to move these two up. Because what I found was that this thing wasn't as much of a circle as I wanted it to be. So I'm going to grab those two, bring it up. Grab this one. And I'm just going at about the halfway point on each of these. And again, because they're touching, they're welded, just like we had with that one experiment that I did before. Just going to bring that out a little bit. Yeah, that's going to be better, I think. These little thrusters are just to help me move this thing around once it's up there. That's better. Now I'm a little bit too far up according to what I'm seeing here now. Yeah, a little bit. That's okay. Let's keep doing what we're doing and then we'll move it down. So the easiest way to just grab it just like I did there. Whoops. Too far. Not far enough. Why are we not? There we go. Let's. Oh, I see what's going on. There we go. It's this guy. Okay. So, looking at the shape of that, that's a better circle than what I had before. I was just doing an experiment before. And I think I'm going to change the direction of my thrust. So I'm going to grab these two and rotate it that way to test that experiment of mine to see whether it's because of the way the physics in the game works that it causes it to slow down. Because right now when you get out in space, you turn it off, it goes and comes to a stop, which it wouldn't do that. But I understand what they're doing. I was just surprised that that's actually not accounted for in the design. But I'm not complaining. Don't get me wrong. I think the game is done very, very well. So it's a, and I don't even really like calling it a game. I think it's done so well that I like calling it a simulator, not a game. Okay, let me just quickly grab all of these. I've seen some people do it seems like they do it like a block grab, and I'm not sure if that's just done on the computer and you can't do it on a cell phone. I don't know. If somebody knows, they can let me know. That'd be great, because it would be handy. I've just not been able to figure out how people are doing it. Okay. I got that whole thing. So let's give this a shot. We're going to run this one, put this one in Earth's orbit. So I'm going to just adjust, save my ring blueprint. I just called it ring, and that's why it says, do you want to override it? Yes, I do, thank you. And check my thrusters. So I know these rockets aren't going to work down on the bottom here, so let's fix that. Get rid of you. And I see some people like build in game with all the cheats and all that. I never do them. The reason I don't is not because I think you can do some pretty cool stuff with it, but I just like going with just the pure game and just see what happens. See what I can make it do. So I need to add in one more rocket. There it is. So I'm just checking my staging. So we do that. Then we're going to disconnect the ring here. Just turn on this engine. And oh, we're missing one more rocket. There we go. And turn on the thrusters up here, which will also turn these ones on, but that won't have too much bearing. Next one is disconnect the ring, and the next one is turn on all the little guys. So good. Let's do another quick save, because I took out those other engines that blew up. And let's launch. Yes, we have no parachutes and no... It looks kind of funny, but it works. I had to increase the amount of thrust because that ring is kind of heavy. So, looked like there's a bird flying through it, but that's just on my screen. So, okay, let's give this a shot here. So, max thrust, staged, engines on, and give her. Now, you can see that's a little bit of a struggle for it to get off. The ring is heavy. The ring is big. That's up there. And the ring has to have that little probe on it so that it has some intelligence once I separate it off. And I left the rocket with some intelligence as well. So they both have a probe attached. So we're just going up. Let's take a look at where everything else is. Everything else is a good distance away, which is, when you're doing an experimental system, not a bad idea. Okay. So we're on the way. Okay, we're at 30. Now we can go 45. And I do want to get it going on a bit of an angle at 45 here. Then I'm just going to let it climb. Okay, now I could go to 60, but like I say, I want to let this one climb because it's heavy. And I want to make sure it's going to get out of the atmosphere with the thrusters that I've got, the big thrusters at the bottom. The secondary stage is meant for in space. So, okay, let's turn it over. We're going to make it no problem. So now we're going to get some sidewards velocity going. And we're picking up pretty good speed here. Over 1,000 now, so this will be good. No problem. We're about to go through atmosphere. And we are going to stage, and it'll blow up the top part of the rocket when we stage there. There it goes. That's just because I hit the thrusters too soon. But we don't care. That piece is going to go back down. Okay, I'm just going to run this a little bit along without any fuel going. I'm not going to go too far because I need pretty much as I can get here. So that'll be enough. I need to start pushing before I get to the max for this one. There we go. And then we just start blowing on it to try to get more speed. Okay, so once I get it up there, I will disconnect from the big rocket. I will discard the big one. Like I say, I did take this to the moon already, so it is, as it was built, it can go to the moon. And that's good because it gives the people working at the moon station now, the ability to turn that on every day, because it doesn't keep running, but turn it on every day, and gives them the opportunity to exercise, which is great. Okay, it's sort of like, for those of you that remember or are old enough to have seen the 2001 Space Odyssey movie, where Space Odyssey, not the song, where the ring keeps turning and the person's doing a jog around the inside of it. That's sort of the idea of why I decided that I wanted to do that. Okay, and when you're in space for long periods of time, you kind of need something like that too. Okay, this is going to work fine, I think. Yeah, we're starting to stretch around the edges. There it goes. Yay! And orbit. There we go. So highest point right now is 55. I'm going to take this up to about 80, I think. And the reason I want to do that is just to get it away from everybody else. And like I said, we got a ton of fuel. There we go. Let's scoot around the other side. It is currently higher than the space station, so we're fine there. Okay, let's just spin her around. It looks like a big magnifying glass in space now. Yeah, rocket is heavy. It's taken a bit to spin it, even with the thrusters on. And that's why when you let go of it, why it stops spinning is because the thrusters automatically, the way it's programmed, automatically reverse thrust. Once it sees you're moving, it'll reverse thrust to try to bring it stable legging, which is good. I don't have any issue with that. But when I don't have thrusters turned on, that ring should keep spinning once it's spinning. But okay, let's bring up to about 80 on the other side. So that's apogee. Okay, the apogee is how far the furthest part of my orbit is. Right now I'm at 80.5. Apogee is 80.5, perigee is 80.4. So if you want to know the actual terms for it. Okay, so you can see my thrusters are on, so everything I touch now changes my, using just the thrusters now, not the rockets, I'm able to change my orbit here. Just trying to get it out to, whoop, going too far on the other side. 80.5, let's go to 80. Yeah, there's 80. Let's go around to the other side and we'll go to 80. Does it have to be perfect circled? No, it doesn't. But, and by the time I finish playing with it, it probably won't be anymore. There we go. 80s all around. So I'm going to turn off the engines. Let's go in and have a look at what's going on here. So once I disconnect, I'm just going to nudge away. So actually, I do want to do this. Let's just check fueling levels and make sure that everybody they should all be topped up now because they're all connected internally by default. So that's fine. So let's disconnect and let's nudge this a little bit away. Okay, so I'm now pulling away from the rocket a little bit. And what I did with this before was I spun it for a bit, saw that it was working, connected to it with the rocket, and went to the moon. That's how so this rocket is full of fuel. Like, we can still go somewhere with this thing. But let's see what happens when we try to do this one. First thing I need to do is turn off the thrusters, because they will try to stop the thrust. In fact, I can show you that if I turn them on and I stage so that I turn on my engines, which is what I've got now, when I go on, you can see it's thrusting, but it's not moving. And the reason it's not moving is you can see the thrusters are running at the same time. It's going So the thrusters right here is busy running like crazy trying to stop it from turning. So let's turn that off. We turn off the thrusters and just let the rockets do their thing. And these are the ion rockets. So they're not as powerful, but if I give it a little bit of a time lapse here, it'll get it moving. My rocket is slowly drifting off, but that's okay. Okay. So if we take a look, so it is spinning, right? And in space, you don't need a ton of spin, but watch what happens when I turn this off. Why did it stop? Okay, it shouldn't stop. There's nothing up there to be having friction with. I'm at 80 kilometers up. There's nothing up there that should stop it. But the little thrusters work good. So I'm just going to leave this. I'm going to let this just sit up here. These ion thrusters, excuse me, the reason I changed the ion thrusters is they are very high efficiency, very low thrust. So if I leave that going for a while, it'll eventually get a little bit faster as it's going. But it won't get super fast because there is a built-in friction. And even though I'm now turning in the same direction as my orbit, it doesn't matter. So let's just let that go. Let's go and take this guy. And where's the Earth? Over there. Okay, so I'm just going to go and deposit this. Now, I could just do this. If I go back to this rocket, switch over here, click on this one, I can just say destroy it. Okay, so it's gone away. So I don't need to actually shoot it anywhere. And you see that's still going. Let's go to the moon. I'll quickly show you that one, and then we'll go from there. So here's the moon. And you can see I've got a couple of things now floating around up here. So this one is just a little station or a satellite or whatever you want to call it. This one is just a little baby one. And this one then should be the ring. There it is. Okay, so you can see that's the ring with the little ion rockets again on it. If I turn them on, it'll start spinning. So that's so they can have one near the moon that they can use as well. So it seems to have a little bit of a better spin to it compared to the other one, being that they're the same size. Which is interesting because all that's different is this one's more of a square and the other one is more of a ring. Shouldn't make any difference. But again, you turn it off. Okay, why is it stopping? Anyway, neither here nor there, but it's just a element of the game, right? We know it should keep going. Okay, eventually you might need to give a little bit extra depending on what's happening inside it, but for the most part it should just keep on spinning. But I'm not too upset about it. I'm still really impressed with the simulator itself. So okay, that's it for this one. Just a quick test. So a couple of things I looked at. One, when I take any of my modules that I've made so far, the robots and all that sort of stuff, if I take the fairings off, it works just fine. But I leave them on because I think it looks nicer and it's more realistic because we do need to protect them from the upper atmosphere as we're scooting along. I guess there's not as much stuff in the program as there is in real life to worry about with that. Two, the ring should continuously keep spinning once you started spinning, and it doesn't. It's just the nature of the game. But still really impressed with it. So let me know what you guys think of this one. I do it wrong all the time. Please, please, please subscribe and hit like and ring the bell and all that good stuff. And, the more people I can get subscribing this, the more motivated I get to do more and different ones. I've had a couple of people ask about doing a bit of a collaboration with, they will build me a rocket and I will see what I can do with it. The only issue I have with that is I have my rules of I don't do any of the you can buy the cheats which give you unlimited gravity and all, or no gravity and all that. I don't go with that. I try to go as real as possible with it. So if you can build me something that theoretically I can get off the ground in using the natural physics, then I will go with that. So anyway, thanks very much for watching. Again, subscribe, ring the bell, hit like, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks.